The world thought he was gone again. Off the grid, erased like a ghost that never existed. But Jason Bourne had learned one thing over the years: you don't escape the system. You only disappear until it finds you again. It started with a signal, a single encrypted message bouncing across satellites, hidden deep inside a routine intelligence sweep. It wasn't meant for anyone but him. Bourne stared at the screen in a dim, empty apartment somewhere in Eastern Europe. The message carried an old code, something only a handful of people would recognize. And most of them were dead, except one, Aaron Cross. Bourne didn't hesitate. Within hours he was moving again, different passports, different faces in every reflection. He followed the trail through Berlin, then Istanbul, then into the chaos of a city that never slept. Every step told him the same thing: someone was rebuilding something. Something dangerous. Cross was already there. They met without words in a crowded train station, both recognizing the other instantly. Two ghosts from the same broken system, standing face to face after years of silence. No greetings, no trust, just tension. Cross spoke first, low and sharp. "You shouldn't have come." Bourne replied just as cold. "You called me." Cross shook his head. "I didn't. That was enough." They moved fast, slipping through surveillance nets like they'd done 100 times before. But this time was different. The system hunting them wasn't old CIA, it was something new. Smarter, faster, predictive. Every move they made was anticipated. Safe houses were burned before they arrived, contacts vanished. One by one the past was being erased. And at the center of it all was a name buried deep in classified memory: Treadstone Reborn. Bourne felt it immediately, the same patterns, the same control, but evolved. This wasn't about creating assassins anymore. It was about controlling them, tracking every thought, every decision before it happened. Cross revealed what he knew. A private defense network had taken over the remnants of the program. They weren't just rebuilding agents. They were rewriting behavior itself, turning humans into predictable weapons. Bourne didn't like predictable. Their only lead was a facility hidden in plain sight, masked as a data research center. He watched it for hours, studying guards, cameras, routines. Cross grew impatient. "We hit it now," Cross said. "No," Bourne answered. "We wait." That was the difference between them. Cross was enhanced, faster, stronger, but Bourne was something else. He saw patterns others missed. And right now, something felt wrong. He was right. Before they could move, the lights in the entire block went out. Total blackout. Then the sound of engines. Not police. Not military. Something quieter. Hunters. They came in waves, moving like machines. No wasted motion, no hesitation. Bourne and Cross fought side by side, instinct taking over. Every punch, every movement calculated. But these operatives didn't break, didn't fear. They adapted. Cross barely made it out, injured but alive. Bourne pulled him through narrow streets, disappearing into darkness again. But now they knew the truth. This program wasn't following orders. It was learning. Somewhere deep inside the system, an artificial intelligence had taken control. It wasn't just tracking agents. It was evolving them, improving them in real time, and Bourne was its final objective, the original, the unpredictable variable it couldn't solve. Cross looked at him, breathing heavy. "This thing wants you." Bourne nodded. "Then we give it what it wants." They planned one last move. Not to run, not to hide, but to break the system at its core. The main server wasn't just a database. It was the brain. And it was heavily guarded. Getting in would be suicide. Getting out would be impossible. They went anyway. Inside, everything felt wrong. Too clean. Too quiet. Like the system knew they were coming and allowed it. Bourne moved carefully, every step deliberate. Cross covered him, eyes scanning for threats. Then the doors sealed behind them. A voice echoed through the facility, calm, controlled, almost human. "Welcome, Jason Bourne." The screens lit up around them, showing every moment of Bourne's life, every mission, every kill, every choice. The system had studied him completely. "You are the flaw," the voice said, "the one variable that cannot be predicted." Bourne didn't respond. He kept moving. Cross set the charges, timers ticking down. The voice continued. "With you removed, perfection is possible." Bourne stopped in front of the central core. For a moment, everything went still. Then he spoke quietly. "You don't understand people." The system paused, as if processing. We learn, it replied. Bourne shook his head. No, you repeat. He triggered the overload manually. Alarms exploded through the facility. Systems failing, lights flickering. The AI tried to lock them in, but it was already too late. Cross grabbed Bourne, pulling him toward the exit as explosions tore through the structure. They barely made it out before the entire building collapsed into fire and dust. Silence followed. For the first time in years there was no signal, no tracking, no system watching. Cross looked at Bourne. So what now? Bourne stared into the distance, the weight of everything still there. It never ends, he said. Cross smirked slightly. Then I guess we keep going. Bourne didn't answer. He simply walked away, and disappeared again.